Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Money in the Law, my FM 101.3. Why is that funny? Why is that funny?
You just look like you're in pain. Go ahead.
I'm the Holliston Hub, HCAT. This is your show, Money in the Law, with your host, Jay Marston.
Yes.
From the Marston Law Group, and I'm John Drohan from Main Effort Financial. And
drum roll. Hold on. Drum roll.
Miserable.
Yeah, drum roll for our.
And of course, and tonight and today we are joined for the first time from the
Presence
Holliston Hub,
graced.
from the first, none other than and as I described before the show, the coolest thing that's happened to the Holliston Hub in a long time, none other than Lindsey Crane. So, nothing against our boy Tom.
Hey,
he's our guy, right? And we love him. You know, we text him. I said we're gonna miss you.
Text him offline.
A lot.
Yep.
But
More than he wants.
Lindsey is here today, and Lindsey is like the breath of fresh air at the Holliston Hub.
She's wearing a killer, for those of you who aren't watching, because she's behind the camera, she's wearing a killer retro Walt Disney World t-shirt.
Throwback.
That is
right?
so vintage.
So like vintage,
Yeah.
where like someone would buy that off of you right now. I'll give you $80 for that right now.
Yeah. Very
That's
cool.
yeah.
My daughter would love that t-shirt. Yep.
I mean, all right, so Lindsey's here. It's her first time doing the show.
Love it. Fantastic.
So I told her we're gonna we'll make
no hazing. Tell us no hazing.
No, this is
hazing.
a haze. No, we're
Haze-free zone?
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
haze-free
No,
zone.
we don't.
That's right.
That hazing stopped a long time.
Yeah. When Dawn left.
I was gonna say that hazing stopped with Don Cronin.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. We hazed them out of here. That's right.
It's hard to haze Don Cronin.
That's right. That's right. Doesn't get all that worked up too much.
No, because the thing about Don is everything. Like when you kid around with him, everything's literal with
Yeah.
Don. So you're like, Don, you don't look good today. He's like, really? What?
It's all worried. Yeah, it's all worried. Down in the car in the mirror.
All right, so welcome, Lindsey. I was about to complain about
please do. Let's get to your complaint.
I'm not gonna do that. How are you? How are you doing? I haven't, because we haven't done this in a long time.
No, we have. We've been hiding out, but you seem to have a pained expression on your face. What's the matter?
I have a little bit of a sore back. I had some sort of a back issue.
Yep. Okay. That's the worst, by the way. Yep.
Yeah, and it was from it was
upper, lower.
Lower back,
Ooh,
right? Yeah, down the bottom.
That's old. That's age, brother.
Yeah, and it was from a something significant. Was I rock climbing? Was I doing like a Mission Impossible 2, like hanging one hand rock climb, something like that? No, I was actually
putting on socks.
no, not even that. Because let me tell you, that hurts right now too. I was putting a dish into the dishwasher. You know that?
Yeah.
This was Saturday, and now it's Wednesday. So no,
that is age right there, brother. Creeping up on you.
Right, and the problem was, and here's the problem. I might have got better a little bit sooner. However, Sunday was the fall championship softball game.
Of course you had to represent. Yeah, I'm sure. Yep.
Which was, and everybody knew I was like wimpy and hurt, right? And they were like, people were literally like clapping for me because I didn't hit into a double play.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Way to not get doubled up, John. Good job. So. Yeah. So I'm just recovering. I feel a little better today, and again because I'm in front of you two guys. Like I'm kind of
keeping it together. Keeping it together. Yeah.
I'm trying
to.
You're
home right now with a heating pad on and some Netflix and some slippers.
I wish that was it. I wish that was all. It's okay when I'm up. It's just getting from down to up.
Yeah. Moving around. Got to keep moving around.
You do. We're also, someone else is here too.
We're joined by the great Cassius Marsden here. He's joining us in the studio.
Cassius,
there was something going on at the house that did not require Cassius's presence, so here he is.
I remember when Cassius would come, early on Cassius. I also remember Cassius at the office.
Yeah.
At your office.
Oh yeah.
Cassius was a workout.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, he's at the office a lot. He's a little bit more down.
I was going to say,
more low key at age 4 now than he was at age 2.
In the old days, it was like.
But he's So he'll be working at the office today. Yep.
So we've been on a sabbatical.
Yes, we have. How was your time away?
Oh, it was great. We got to go. We got to spend a little time in northern Florida.
Nice.
Where
the Panhandle?
No, Florida.
Yeah, northern Florida, the Panhandle.
Oh, what am I saying? Florida, California.
Well, they're different. They're different states. You know that, right? You know that.
Why did I say Florida?
They're not even close together.
Not even in the same coast, right? So we were in Northern California. Yeah, so we got to go to Northern California for a couple of days. It's been a trip we've been planning for a while.
Yeah.
And the whole reason it came about is, you make all the excuses not to go, but my sisters were having this big Vegas blowout for their 50th birthday party that got canceled. Yeah. So I had the tickets.
Yep. Let's go.
We had we went to Sonoma. We get to go to Sonoma for 3 days. Have you been to Sonoma?
Never. Nope.
It's worth the price of
Sure,
admission.
I'm sure it is. Yeah,
it was.
sure it is. Yeah.
It was, and we went to Napa like about 6 years ago, and they're different. They're a little bit different, but we got to go because Sonoma's a little closer to the water.
Sure.
So we did it all. We got to Healdsburg is kind of the big town in Sonoma, so that place is pretty cool. And then we stayed in some cool some fun hotels.
Nice.
Got to go to the coast, drive on the on the highway on
PCA?
on the Route 1,
Yep.
like right on the edge of the world there.
Yep.
Have you been to Northern California? Oh, Lindsay says
See,
she's
of course,
been.
yeah. She's looking at us, eye roll, like,
She's
okay,
like,
guys, yep,
losers.
sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Yep, get out of Halston, guys. There's a lot going on out there.
Right, and she's trying to be quiet, right? She's like, if you break character, it's okay. It's
You
like,
can jump in.
Yeah,
you can jump in. You can be part of the show.
It's
You can be part of
okay.
the show. That's right. That's right.
All right, so we've taken some time off, but now we're back. How's
We are
things?
back.
How's things with you? You
Things
guys
are good.
busy?
Things are good. Yeah, we're busy. Yep, the firm's busy. Getting close to like everybody year end. Putting some 2024 plans on paper, trying to figure out what that's going to look like, how we're going to pull everything together, see what we're trying to accomplish there, and wrapping up 2023, finishing strong. I'm sure we'll have our annual end of the year show to check all your end of the year boxes and cover all that stuff at some point.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are. But yeah, no, it's good. Everybody's good. We hired some new people, get some new bodies over there, which is exciting. That's exciting.
What's going on with that building next door? Is anybody moving into that?
Supposedly somebody's moving. Supposedly there's a closing this week or something like that.
Oh,
So I was
good.
over there the other day, chit-chatting with the current owner, who's a good man, and he was just kind of giving me the 411 on some stuff he was doing over there. So we'll see what happens.
Just make
We'll see
sure
what
they
happens.
don't paint that thing a different, like purple.
Same
or
color as
something.
me. I know.
Yeah,
That's the
right?
chance. It's a concern, right? It's a
Yeah.
concern, right?
Right, and then people will go into the wrong driveway.
Yeah,
next
which
thing
happens
you
all
know-
the time, by the way. Yep, it does happen all the time. Yep,
I was
yep.
going to say, and then they're like, I'm looking for an estate planning attorney, and the next thing you know,
Yeah,
one
they're
moves right
in
next
another
door.
estate planning
Yeah.
attorney's office. That's a problem. We gotta walk on that. We gotta be
it's
careful
not
with that. Be careful with that.
not
You know, like that driveway. Up.
Yeah,
Make sure you can find us.
Yeah, you need cones or
Yep.
something.
Enter
right?
here.
Yeah.
Enter here. Big signs.
Yeah, estate planning. Enter
That's
this
right.
way.
That's right. That's right. That's right. To protect your money, take a right. That's right.
Lose your money. Keep
Take a
going.
left.
Yeah,
That's right.
take
That's
it.
right. Protect your money. First driveway on the right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So so everything's good. No complaints. Getting ready to get to it. It's funny. November's a short month. We were talking about this the other day. Like that week, that November week, that leads into Thanksgiving, where it gets progressively less productive.
It's useful.
That's right.
I mean,
Monday,
it's useless, rather.
Monday, you're like, yeah, you get a lot done. Tuesday, you're like, all right, we're pretty much right. And then Wednesday, forget it.
Yeah,
You're like,
and then something's always going to come up. There's always going to be something
Yes.
that like, do you remember we need to do that? Or, somebody needs something and it's going to end up taking half your day. And
Yes.
before you know it, like you said, it's Wednesday and it's like everybody, you're like, it's Wednesday. It's a Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I feel like this instinctual urge to travel somewhere.
Yeah,
Like
at
even
four-
if I'm not going anywhere.
well, at 4 o'clock, hey, can you drive to? I need you to go.
Drive to Worcester
I
and
can't
back.
get there, and I need you to jump on. Could you do me a favor? If you could get me to the airport, that'd be super. That's.
I don't have a flight. I just want to go
just
to
wanna
the airport.
go.
Go to the
I
airport.
wanna just see what
go
it's
to the-
like.
I want to hit on that traffic. I want to drive in the traffic.
I heard
to
it's
the
busy.
airport.
I heard it's busy. If you could go to the airport for me, that'd be
I want to
super.
just add to airport
You
traffic.
just drop this. Somebody I know is taking a flight and they forgot this. If you could drop that off, that'd be swell.
I know someone who's taking. I know someone who might need this. Who might
You
need
wouldn't have to buy a
couple
ticket to get
magazines.
through TSA. If you could just give them this, that'd be great, right?
no.
You don't just walk up anymore and see everybody off, right? Like it's like that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Can I
it. It's
check?
over.
I want to send a bag somewhere. I want to send this bag to Oregon.
I just leave this here.
I'm going to check it. Yeah. Right.
Just so somebody can
check-
keep an eye on this,
Can I
that'd be
check
great.
this
So,
bag? Yeah.
so that's it. So that's all we get going on. Nothing else. Nothing
right.
else happening.
All right. Everybody's coming home.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. That's like the big thing now, right? So the kids are all out and about, and so they're doing their thing. So now this is the whole like, all right, who's coming home when? How you getting home? Who's driving? Who's taking the train? How do we get you where we need to get you? So that's always. And then of course that changes the dynamic, right? So now like things are different. Like now all of a sudden you go into full blown parent mode. You're like, oh man.
Yep.
Like, 2 weeks ago you wander around, do whatever you want. Now all of a sudden everybody's home, everybody's up, everyone's looking for money. You're like, come on, this is killing me.
I mean, and that was the thing is our coming home because they're coming from down there, like, and it's like, oh, we're going to take the train. Everybody's taking the train. I'm like, the trains on Thanksgiving, they know. They're like, oh, you guys want to take a train on Thanksgiving? Well, here's how much it's going to cost.
You wanna
It's
try-
like one of they write the number on the piece of paper and
They
say,
slide it across
"Here
the
you
desk
go."
like you're buying a
Yeah.
car. It's not like you're making somebody a job offer.
Yeah, like you're buying a house. Yeah.
Here's your offer. Here's the offer. Do
you
you
go.
accept our terms?
Yeah. Do you accept this? Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind?
I want to talk about I want to talk about retirement planning.
Love it.
I want to talk about retirement savings, and I want to talk about, and we've talked about this obviously. We've talked about everything before on the show, but I want to kind of reemphasize the importance of the 401k.
Sure.
And I wanted, and because this is our practices is kind of moving in this direction. In the, one of the things that, and you can let me know what your feelings are on this, but one of the things that we see is, 9 out of 10 people, their primary retirement savings plan is their 401k.
Yeah.
Their employer-sponsored plan, and it could be, a SEP IRA or some, but most of the time it's a 401k through their employer.
Sure.
Or it could be a self-employed 401k, which is...
Well, let me say this. To the point that when somebody comes in and tells you they don't have a substantial amount of money in their 401k, you're immediately triggered to say, you must have a really good pension.
Yeah. There's something else, right? There's some other means of, or you've thought this through. There's some other way that you're going to get income when you retire, and the whole idea of, in the old days it was all pension, right?
Yep.
And you work for a big company, you just got a pension. I mean, even if you work for Holliston Hub, there probably was a pension plan back then. And unfortunately, I don't think you're not in that pension plan. Lindsay's like,
check your statements.
She's like, what's a pension? Yeah. Like you're.
What are you talking about?
Seriously, like, this is some yawning right now. Yeah. I mean, just for the record, there'll be times when Tom will be like, he'll be like turned around like facing the wall. Like he just would be just like,
I'm laughing. I'm with you. I'm laughing with you, not at you.
My eyes are closed only because
That's
I'm
right.
thinking
Taking
really
it all
hard.
in. I'm memorizing everything you're saying. Yep. That's right.
So yeah, back in the day it was but now it's the 401k, and what we're finding is that people will be like, yep, I have a 401k, and yep, I put money into it. Some people, I max out my 401k, and then their definition of maxing out their 401k might not be the same as ours. Yeah. And then I just invest in it, and it's in there, right? And I put it, but they don't really understand it.
Well,
right?
the nuance is lost on them about what is this thing doing for me? What's the best way for me to leverage this tool into whatever they think they're trying to do?
Yeah, and some of the details of the 401k are important to understand.
Sure.
Particularly if you're in like one of these smaller companies that has a 401k. Maybe you don't have a match, right? Now, how many times have you heard people say, yeah, I'm not doing the 401k because there's no match. You know, they don't understand.
They're losing the point.
Yeah, they don't understand kind of what the value is. And then there's the actual investment piece themselves where like no one, again, 9 out of 10, no one helps them. No one says, hey, this is, here's where you are in your life. This is probably
there's a generic open enrollment period. They talk about the plan, and that's about it.
Yeah,
at a 30,000-foot level.
And they're like, oh, I'm in the 2035 fund, right? I'm in the whatever the target date funds.
Yep.
And so for them, and I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying that those are bad. I'm saying that potentially but people don't understand them. They don't understand them. And when you talk about, because then you could turn around and say to the same person, you say, do you care about retirement? Like, is retirement important to you, or is being able to, well, better yet, is not running out of money during retirement
what's the
important
goal?
to you? Yeah. And people will be like, oh yeah, like I don't want that because I saw my dad or this and that, right?
Sure.
So that 401k is like, that's the centerpiece of that. But people, they take it for granted. So I think, one of the things that we're doing is
all right, so let's take a quick break.
Wait, no.
Well, we're 20 minutes in. Take a quick break, then we'll dive under the hood.
I was just going to say something.
Say it. Go ahead.
We're emphasizing the importance of the 401k and the understanding of it.
I think you already said that.
And now let's
take. That's good.
All right, so let's break.
All right, let's take a quick break.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. And again, just because you see me moving around, it's
finally.
It's a high pain threshold. So I don't even know what. I mean, your 4 is like my.
Oh, save it.
Yeah, right, or whatever. Your 8 is my 3.
Got it.
So I'm at about a 3.3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
So
let's go.
I'm just saying.
Guy.
All right, all right, we'll
let me clap you in the back as we go up the air here. You can tell me how high your threshold is. All right.
Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Put a heating pad or a hot water bottle on your back if it's sore too. That doesn't hurt. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
And you're back, My FM 101.3. Jay Marsden with the Marsden Law Group. John Drohan, Main Effort Financial. Cassius is here, and Lindsay's here. She's keeping us, keeping
Lindsay
that 5
Crane.
pounds us
The
off
crane.
the calendar, off the camera, keeping us looking good and young, and keeping you looking kind of fit.
I was going to say,
given your frail constitution
I
today.
was going to say, I mean, I went to the doc for this for my back, and this is my doctor who's younger than me. He looks at me and he's like, "Yeah, have we talked to the cardiologist?" I'm like, "No, we're not talking. It's my back." And he's like, "No, you just look old. You look like we need to do a full workup on you."
You seem to have a little more mileage than the ad has represented
It
here.
ain't right. That's not right.
And you can find us by the way at moneyandthelaw.net. Stay tuned. We're in the discussions for a potential live show coming up. So we could just live call-ins and get some actual answers from our adoring public.
I mean, wait, no. Let's just blow that off. I mean, let's throw that out. Let's put that on the table right
it's
now.
out there.
I mean,
it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there. We're working on it.
We would love to be able to do that.
We'll
see if we can make that
We're working
happen.
on it. Our people are talking to their people. We'll see what happens.
All right. Speaking of their people, this is Ray
This is
asked to
coming
talk
up.
about
Yes,
this.
please.
Yeah.
Yep.
So on December 3rd is the annual MyFM 101.3 Stuff a Bus. All right.
So for those of you who have followed our travails on the show these many years, you know what a community partner My FM is. I mean, they are
They're
the
a
community
leader.
partner, second to none. They
Yeah.
are the partner in your community for all kinds of great things. As such, go.
Yeah. So the annual Stuff a Bus. What they've done in the past is they've parked this bus outside of like Walmart or Target, and people would come. They would go and buy toys, and then they'd all cram into this bus, and all of these go towards to the Toys for Kids and Teens organization. So this is and it's a great thing. These are kids who they don't get anything for the holidays. There's no holiday gifts just because they don't have the finances. And MyFM, they make this happen. They've done it over the years.
Yes, they do.
So this year, things are a little bit different. So this year there was an unfortunate vandalism of the storage
Go
area.
figure, right?
Yeah. Let's go rob from the orphanage.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Let's go steal toys from people who don't have them. That's a great idea.
You know what?
Yeah.
All I got to say is like those guys that did that.
Karma, baby, karma. It's out there. It's coming to get you.
I feel bad for you. Like
Yeah.
I feel like like it's something's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like bad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like you feel good about that. Like you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
No
How do you
way.
go home? How do you go home? Look at yourself in the mirror.
I mean,
or
they make
something like
movies
that.
about stuff like
That's
that,
right.
right?
That's
Like
exactly right.
right. Those guys are waking up in the middle of the night. And there's
Yep.
like all these kids, like with etch-a-sketches, drawing pictures of them.
Beating them with their etch-a-sketch. Yep, that's right. So they're changing their tune a little bit this year as a result of this unfortunate incident.
Yep.
Which means
So what's happening is all the people that wanted to be involved with the Stuff a Bus, like in the past, there's a commitment. It's called the Commitment to Care. So they're looking for donations for people to actually donate money. And the donation is a $200. And it's $200 worth of toys, and then deliver them to the MyFM 101.3 Stuff a Bus collection site.
Yes.
And then
which will be here at the MyFM
in the lot.
Yeah, that's right. Here at the international headquarters here at 258
right,
Main Street
right
in
across
Milford.
from Memorial Park over there.
got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then what will happen is this is all happening on the 3rd of December, and then that stuffed bus with toys coming out the wazoo, will then drive in the Santa parade later on. So,
fantastic.
I mean, and if the if the Money in the Law crew can be there, we'll see. Who knows, right?
Why not? Why not?
That obviously
We care.
We care, and they want us there.
Why wouldn't
And
they?
This is what happens, Lindsay. So there's a point in the show where we're going to talk about our importance to kind of the community itself, the world.
I think what you're trying to say is there's a responsibility that goes with a certain
We feel
level
it.
of celebrity. And so what we're trying to do is obviously live up to that level of responsibility that comes with this level of celebrity.
It is. Yep.
Everybody has their cross. This happens
This
to
is
just be
this
ours.
is the one we bear.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So here we go. All right, so back to your long saga story there about 401ks and pivoting at the firm there. You were going on about that for a while. I'll let you continue.
Let me go. All right. So the whole the idea of the 401k and how it is like probably the primary like liquid retirement savings
Yeah.
that you have, right? And how it's kind of been evolved to replace the the defined benefit plan. What people when you have a 401k, just kind of to go over the basics. When you have a 401k, you have there's an employee amount that you're allowed to contribute. So as an employee, you're allowed to contribute up to $23,000 in a year.
Sure.
So that is so if you make $23,000, you can put in $23,000.
Oh, yeah, put it all in. I wouldn't
Yep.
recommend that, but you can do it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that'd be tricky. Although some people can because of
aggressive,
their
yeah.
situation.
Yep, that's right.
Or because there's another income
Yeah,
source.
that's right. Yep.
So and then remember the 401k is it's a retirement. It's an IRA. So it has a tax deferred capability. Now,
Sure.
some 401ks also have a Roth capability too. So if there's a Roth version of a 401k where that is similar to a Roth IRA. So the idea of the traditional IRA, the traditional 401k, that means that if I put in $23,000, then that means I'm going to get taxed. My taxable income will drop because it's pre-tax.
Sure.
So
yeah.
it all gets my taxable income will be $23,000 less. If I make $100,000, then my taxable income is going to be $77,000.
Yep.
Right. I'm only getting taxed.
Take it
on that.
right off the top. Yep.
Right. And then that money goes into your 401k and it gets invested into whatever combination of investments that your 401k offers, whatever you choose, whatever someone helps you choose
Yeah,
or
whatever's
whatever.
available, sure. Yeah.
And then you're kind of at the mercy of the market. And then any gains that you have inside that 401k are all tax deferred as well.
Yep. Got it.
So that's important because that's kind of the really cool thing about the 401k. Because let's say you took $23,000 and invested into I don't know, like a brokerage account or
yeah, my favorite. Yeah.
some other type of investment, but it doesn't have the IRA it doesn't have the IRA qualities in it.
Got it.
So if I do that, then if any gains that I have in the year that I appreciate, any capital gains that I have, I'm going to have to pay taxes on them, and then that is going to affect my overall balance.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but in the 401k, I'm kicking that can down the road. I don't have to pay taxes on that until I withdraw the money.
Well, and you guys have talked about this. We've talked about this on the show 100 times. This is your primary vehicle, for the most part, of building your retirement war chest. This is where it all comes together. And then if you leave your job, you could take the money with you, put it in an IRA, put it in your new 401k at your new company if you want to pile everything together. But this is it. This is going to when the song is sung, this is what you're going to turn around and say, okay, for the most part, most folks, do I have enough? Did I do this well enough?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now I think that the idea is that some folks take that to heart and really dive in and understand this thing. Other people just kind of loosey-goosey it, and then they say, well, maybe it'll work out. We'll see what happens when I get there.
And the loosey-goosey part is what I'm concerned about.
Sure. Yeah.
That's because the people that do it, the people that get it, or they're just in a position where they're like, maybe their old man talked to them, and it was like, their old man caught them at a time when they thought their old man was smart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he might know something.
Yeah. I mean, both of our dads, speaking for them, like, I won't say at all times I thought my dad was smart. Definitely got smarter the older I got.
I'm with you on that. Yep. That's
So
right.
so let's say they said, hey, listen, if you're making enough money, put I know it'll be great if you had a bunch of extra spending money, but if you can afford to put money into that retirement account and that 401k, then do it. And the more you can put in, the better off you're going to be. And you're like, okay, Dad, I'll do it.
Sure,
There's
Dad.
some people that start early and they start banking that money away. And then those are the people and then come when they turn 30 or 35, they're like, wow, I have when they start talking about how much money you have in your 401k versus
Sure.
someone else, they're like, wow, you got a lot of money in your 401k. Yeah, it's because I know how to save.
Yeah, that's right. And I did it early, and that's the key, right? So that's the key. And where this is important is the tendency today, it seems, is that most folks don't get to a job and stay there a long time.
Yep.
Right. So now, what can happen is, and we used to see this when I was at Fidelity all the time, is people would get to a job and they would say, well, I'm not going to be here that long. So they don't take the retirement savings part of that seriously. Right. They think to themselves, this isn't my forever home, so that's not really important. I'm not going to jump through the hoops that it would take to get myself dialed into this thing, so I'm not, or they're not going to vest if there's employer contributions, and they go, you know what, why bother? I'm not going to. So they don't do it, and then you find yourself 10 years later having saved little to nothing, and you missed out on a real compounding opportunity.
Yeah, and that's the thing. How many times have you heard it? Like, or oh, so I got a new job. Have you enrolled in the 401k yet? No, I haven't done it. I haven't gotten around to it.
They mentioned it at the thing, but I'm busy.
Yeah,
busy.
And that's the part where I feel like that's where the problem is. Is that people it's the 401k is just it's on a list of things that I got to do. And I'm telling you, we're telling you that it's important. It's beyond important when you put it in kind of like the retirement perspective. Like what is important for retirement? Like and when you, because again, in our practice, in our financial planning practice, all roads lead to retirement. So, you're 30 years old, when you're Lindsay's age, which she's not even 30 yet, but when you're Lindsay, she's like, is she thinking about retirement? No. She's like, I just got here. I'm just getting going.
I got a couple of bucks, I gotta spend it.
Yeah. But someday, like 3 lifetimes from now, that's going to be important.
Yes.
And for the people that have kind of spent that time and done what they can early to be able to kind of enable that down the road, it pays countless dividends if you're able to get a hold of it.
Well, if you work in this space, you're so hip to it. It's a natural, it's a language that you are fluent in. But if you don't, how many times do you see it where people come in and they say, yeah, I really don't understand this. And you say to yourself, if you're going to try to learn anything, if you're going to try to understand anything, this is the thing. And not only is this the thing to understand, but the companies that you are part of, they'll feed you all the information that you need to help you understand it, because they have a duty to make sure that you understand exactly what's going on, so that you don't show up 50 years later and say, we have a 401k.
No one told me that.
I was never told about this. I didn't know this existed, and I didn't save for retirement, and somebody owes me $2.6 million.
88-year-old Jay Marsden coming in. Yeah, banging on the
Dear
door.
Fidelity.
Yeah,
that's right.
On
Yeah.
the little green mutual fund
Yeah,
company.
why did nobody tell me? Why did nobody tell me about this?
No one told me about that.
You're in this business?
Yeah, my lawyer would like to talk to you guys
I
about
know about that. I checked my emails.
Listen, I'm not saying we're going to sue. We just think we might have a case.
Yeah. But this becomes the thing. And to your point, as you get older, this, with the exception of a piece of real estate, right, that this is going to become, this is it. This is the bedrock of for the most part, of your retirement.
That's a good point. And I just before we go to break, I want to touch on that, because that's another thing. So we'll talk more about the details and like the nuances of the 401k. But how many times have you heard where people are like, yeah, I don't do that because I invest in real estate. Like I put my money elsewhere. I have different investments, and I'm not knocking real estate as an investment. It can be an absolutely it can be an absolutely great investment. However, what is the difference between having a really expensive piece of property and a 401k? Let's say I needed $5,000. What do I need if I want? Unless
you don't go chip $5,000 off your real estate, right? No. You need some liquidity.
That's right. So the difference between real estate, now, and real estate could be rental property. You could be getting, it could be generating an income from you, but you don't have the same liquidity with real estate that you do with a retirement account, a 401k.
You have nowhere near the same liquidity. And you have all kinds of, if you wanted to turn that into something liquid, it's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you money. So yes, trying to squeeze $5,000 out of a piece of property is a heck of a lot different than hitting send on your 401k retirement money and they just fire out a check to you. It's a different animal. It's totally different. They do different things. You guys always talk about purpose, the purpose of your money, the purpose of your investments. Two different purposes, two completely different purposes.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the kind of the specifics of the 401k that we're going to want you to pay attention to.
Love it.
And as you go forward, and when you talk to your advisor, and everybody needs to understand what their 401k is supposed to do.
Sharpen the pencils, folks.
All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away. My FM 101.3, Holliston Hub, Money in the Law.
And we're back. My FM 101.3, Jay Marsden with the Marsden Law Group in beautiful, glorious downtown Holliston. John Drohan, Main Effort Financial, a couple of doors down, also in the financial district down in Holliston. And we are here, Money in the Law, and we can be found at moneyinthelaw.net. You have questions, you want to reach out to us, you want to just talk the talk, give us a shout, find us there, and then we can set something up. And we're here today talking about the particulars, the nuances of your 401k and how to create that as a war chest for retirement. and swinging from the chandeliers as you get there.
And we want you to pay attention to it.
Just
we
pay
want
attention.
we want you to understand.
Don't neglect it.
Okay, so let's start with what a 401. We talked about like kind of what you as an employee are allowed to put into a 401k, and this is important because let's say you have a job and you make $500,000 a year. Like I make so much money. Oh my God, I'm like rolling in money, and it's
close to what you make.
It's crazy.
So it's good. It's nice.
Yeah,
I love it. Okay.
I wish. So, but let's say you make that much money. Guess what? And you're like, well, no, I don't want to put money into a 401k because I don't like the investments. Blah 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 blah.
I want the money. I want to use it.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna put it into an IRA or something like that.
I'll do it later. I'll get around to it.
So because you make the income that you make, you're not allowed to get any other tax. There's no other options for you to enable to defer your taxes down of money that you invest, with the exception of your employer-sponsored plan, aka your 401k. So high income people, that becomes your only option. Your only option is to be able to put money into an employer-sponsored plan. I don't know how many times I've had people like kind of like we were saying, I haven't gotten around to it, I haven't done it. I'm like, dude, I see you're saving money and you're making a lot of money, but guess what? You're going to pay taxes on all that money. You're going to pay tax. Yeah. There's no dwindling this down. There's no like reducing your taxable income. And the only way you can do it is by put money into a retirement account.
Well, and you know who drops the ball in this area a lot is the self-employed people.
There you go.
I mean, because look, a lot of the companies, there's somebody whose job it is to make sure that you sign up for this thing.
Yep.
And then there's all these auto invest, you got to opt out options. So, and sometimes when you're in these bigger companies, the 401k finds you whether you like it or not, right? But for those of you who are sole practitioners, small business owners, you have to go out of your way to actually get this thing going. It will not find you, and you will find yourself in a position where you say, I've been on my own practicing by myself for 10 years and I never got around to saving any retirement money. And you think that it's cool, don't worry about it because I'm going to work forever. And then at some point you say to yourself, I don't think I like working forever.
Or I can't work forever.
Or I can't work forever. Something happens, the whole world changes. Somebody comes up with artificial intelligence that takes your job away. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on.
That's not right.
That's
Fake.
unbelievable. That's right.
That's fake news.
That's right. That stuff happens. So you need to pay particular attention to this, and you want to pay particular attention to this because the rules are written even better for you.
Yeah. So if you're a self-employed person, there's a couple different things. So if you're a self-employed person, let's say you have employees. Let's say you're a dentist and you have 4 employees. So there's 5 of you total, and you're a dentist and you make pretty good money, right?
Sure.
So yours, if you make over $90,000 and you're considered a high income earner, right?
Yep.
So what happens is you can do a 401k, and this is one of the things about a 401k is the whole concept of a 401k match, right?
Yep.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. But you can do a 401k with a small number of employees, but what you have is what's known as a top-heavy 401k.
Sure.
So in order to do that, in order to do a 401k, what you end up having to do is you end up having to share some of the wealth, and it's not debilitating. It's not like you don't have to if you put away $20,000, it's not like you have to give everybody else $20,000.
Right.
It's not how it works. There's a formula based on age, based on the age of your employees. Sure. So when you have one of these, when you have like one of these small, you can do it, right? Yep. And so what happens is, you being a self-employed guy, me being a self-employed guy, you're always looking at the bottom line. What's this going to cost me?
Sure. Yeah.
So you're like, well, wait a minute. Oh, it's going to cost me, make up a number, $7,000, $10,000 in order to do this, right? And you're like, wow, I don't know if it's worth it. But A, you're giving a benefit for your employees, so that's pretty cool.
Yep.
And B, because even though it costs you $10,000, let's say you have the capability to put in, let's say you're $23,000 if you're under the age of 50. If you're over the age of 50, I can put away 30.
Yep.
And then this is the kind of the cool thing about a 401k is, especially these smaller ones, is the K piece of the 401k means it's a profit sharing. So that's what indicates it's a profit sharing plan. So you can put even more money away depending
Sure.
upon, again, you're going to have to spread some of the wealth around.
Yeah.
It's a profit sharing, so you have to there's some sharing involved, but you may have enough money, you may have the capability to put away up to $63,000.
Yeah. And so the key is you need to, this is where you need to understand that
Yeah.
right there. You need to understand the capability of how much you can put away. And you don't have to put away all of it, right? You know, you're blessed in that you can kind of give to two buckets, but you know, if you decide that 30 is the limit, that's the most that you can afford to do. But the key, I think, is that you're having a conversation with your accountant at the beginning of the year, and you've got a plan to fund this thing throughout the year.
Yep.
So that when December rolls around and your accountant says, you know, you could put more money into your plan, it's not a $67,000 hit, it's a $10,000 hit
Yeah.
or a $20,000 hit because you've been funding this thing $1,000 a month over the course of a year, and you say to yourself, getting to 25 is not a big leap. That's how you want to think about
Right,
that.
and then if you're responsible for this part of the profit sharing or the match that goes along with giving your employees, you say, oh, it's going to cost me $10,000. I have to give it to those guys. And you're like, yeah, okay, but then your accountant says, look, you put away $35,000. You're in the 37% tax bracket. By putting that away, you're reducing your taxable income by $37,000. Guess how much money you just saved? $11,500.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that just paid for it. And oh, by the way, all your employees,
They're loving it. They're loving you.
You are providing a solid benefit for your
That's
employees.
right. Yeah, real benefit, and that's going to make you more competitive in the marketplace. It can help you attract better talent.
And you just put away $37,000 that you're going to use down the road, 20 years from now when you retire.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's right.
and you're like, so like we said in the beginning, nobody regrets. No one ever says, I saved too much money for retirement. I wish I didn't save so much when I was young. No one ever says that.
Nobody says that.
No.
Nobody ever says that.
Because
no.
they're like,
And yes, do you wish you were putting in a hot tub? Of course you do. Isn't that fun? Isn't that instant gratification? I get it.
I mean,
I get it.
especially if you're suffering from a
Especially
little
if your back hurts.
I mean, that hot tub
right now,
sounds
the hot tub sounds better
Yeah.
than retirement. I get it. But but think about it. You're 1,000% right. Nobody says, I can't believe I saved all this money for retirement.
What
I'm
was
so
I thinking?
mad at myself.
What was I thinking?
Honey, no
What?
more first class.
Yeah.
We're done. We saved too much money in retirement.
Yeah,
That's right. We're going
I hate
coach.
flying first
That's right.
class.
That's right.
I hate that.
Sick of it.
I hate having to lay down. Oh, I'd rather just sit next. I'd rather sit in the middle seat
That's
somewhere.
right. That's
yeah.
right. Yep. That's right. No more aisle seats for you. So this is what happens. This is what happens. So yes, if the government is giving you the opportunity, and by the way, they do this because they don't want to take care of you. Let's be
That's
honest.
right.
That's why they do it, right? The government says, look, we'll create every incentive we can in the world to make you save for your retirement because it's in the best interest of the government, right? Of the
That's right.
and it's in your best interest.
Because
Right?
the
It's in your
government's,
best interest.
we're going to give you money down the road. It's called Social Security. You know
Yeah.
what? It ain't going to be enough.
That's right.
And we know it. You know it. We tell you.
It was never designed. It was designed that way right from Jump Street.
Right from the beginning.
Yep.
Like, we're going to give you some, but it's not going to be enough.
That's right.
And in the old days, back in the 50s, when you worked for Union Carbide, you were going to get a pension. As soon as
Sure.
you get a gold watch and you get a pension
Big
the day
party
you
at the
retire.
end, maybe some ice cream.
And
Yep.
guess what?
Yep.
Companies like Union Carbide and IBM and all these other companies, they're like, hey, this pension that we've been funding, it's putting us into the poorhouse.
Yeah,
we can't afford
we are
it.
we're turning into a benefits company,
Exactly.
not a car company, we have to figure this out,
Yeah.
right? And so what was the solution? You save for your own retirement.
You save your own, and guess what? The government's going to give you all. We're going to put in this tax deferred capability.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you have the ability to tax defer, and we're going to have the ability to that your employer can give you money in the form of a match.
Yep.
The
We'll
employer-
make it tax advantageous for them to be on
for
board
everybody.
with this plan. Yep.
For everybody.
Oh, and by the way, if something happens to you, your kids can have it. How
Yeah.
about that? Yeah, because before your pension would just end,
Yep.
right? Maybe your spouse would get it, right? Okay, fine, some reduced benefit. Now you can
Keeps going.
create intergenerational wealth with this thing. It's not, yes, it's a retirement package.
I think Lindsay just woke up.
but
she's
like,
intergenerational.
I could have money coming my way.
Love that. What is
Oh,
that?
what's wealth?
What
What's
is that?
wealth? What does that
Now
look like?
You finally have my attention,
Yes.
you two knuckleheads.
You
Yeah.
had me at intergenerational
You
wealth.
had me
That's
at
the story.
generational.
That's
Yeah.
exactly the story. But think about it. You're going to get to where you're going to get to. Yes, you're going to spend your money. You can do all your stuff. But then, you've got friends, and even people listening to the show. You've got colleagues, contemporaries, and they might not tell you about it. But if something happens, unfortunately, right? Life goes on like it always does. But somebody inherits somebody's retirement money. It's a game changer, right?
Yeah.
And so this is how you're passing wealth, right? So you're doing, it's got all these bennies. Yes, you're saving for retirement. Yes, it's your war chest so that you can enjoy your golden years, whatever that looks like, whatever that sounds like, whenever that is. And oh, by the way, you're teeing up your kids, if you do it right, to kick things off for them.
Yep.
And the government's saying, please do this. Please do this.
Yep.
We'll do everything we can to make this work for you. It's
Yeah.
a no-brainer. And I think you need to think about it as this is our game changer from retirement, and it's a game changer for our family. This is
Yeah.
what you need to think about. This is your legacy.
It needs to be, and that, at the end of the day, that's what it needs to be. It needs to be a priority.
Yes.
It needs to be a priority. I mean, we always say, in like the kind of the fundamentals of financial planning, first thing you need is you need an income. You need
Correct.
to be able to
Yeah.
it costs money to live, so you need to have money to be able to pay for those costs,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then is there any extra money left over? Then you put that money in the bank, right?
Yep.
So I'll save money in the bank in case something comes up where I don't have enough money, or I didn't make enough money
That's
that
right.
month
That's
or
right.
that week.
That's right.
Right? So I have money in the bank. And then if I have the capability to save more money, the next place you put it is into some form of a retirement fund.
That's right.
And
That's when savings turns into investing.
Yep.
That's the difference. That's
Yeah.
the transition.
And so you can in 9 out of 10 cases, it's probably your company has a 401k or has some form of an employer-sponsored
Yeah,
plan. So
yeah.
that's the key word. Those are the words to remember. You write anything down. Employer-sponsored plan that your company sponsors. Now, the first question that comes up is is there a match, right? Because most of these employer-sponsored plans, they have a match.
Well, they have a match for the reasons that you mentioned before. It's tax advantageous for companies to have a match. So they may have a match.
They may have a match, and you know what? The great thing about the match is that match is free money.
Yes.
Right? And now, depending upon kind of what kind of 401k plan is, there may be a vesting period on what you're able to take. So, for instance, if you're in a 401k where there's no vesting period, so let's say your employer matches 3% of your salary up to 3%. So as long as you put in 3% of your salary, your employer is going to put in 3%. That's what we call in the finance world is free money.
Yep.
If you ever see free money, take it.
Well, it's free, right?
Well,
isn't that why you take it, right? Free means free, right? I mean, it's
free is free.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like free stuff, right? So free money's even better.
Free money,
Yes.
right? Because
Yep.
then I can
buy
use
more
that
stuff?
money.
Yes.
I get more stuff.
Yes.
So the whole idea of the match is that, and what people so if a 401k has a match, and you have the wherewithal to be able to do it, like you have your cash flow enables you to do it. The first step in this is you'll do the match.
Yes.
So if your employer says we're going to match you 3% of your salary, then our recipe will be the first thing, no brainer. You're going to do at least 3%.
You're at least doing 3, so you get there 3. Now you're up to 6.
So you get there 3%, and
Yeah.
you get that free thing that we call the free money, which who doesn't want free money? Everybody, that's why they call it money.
Look, I can tell you right now, so when I worked at that small mutual fund company in
Tiny
town,
one.
right? We had a 401k, right? We had a match, so everybody was on board. And of course, you're conditioned to max that thing out because you work at a small mutual fund company, and that's all they talk about is matching your 401k. But they also had a profit sharing contribution, right? Now, separate and apart from the 401k, but you talked about it earlier, you can do these profit sharing contributions. My point is, everybody knew what day the profit sharing contribution hit your account, right? They just knew it was like
that
celebrating
day.
a birthday. It was like today's.
Everybody's in such a good mood today.
And everybody would sit there, and it was like refresh. There it is, and that was free money in action. Somebody just said, "Take this, please," and off you went. So the point is, when you start to kind of get hip to this, you're going to start to say this. You're going to say, "Boy, you know what? You make a contribution like that to a 401k, you do a profit sharing contribution, you're going to see it hit your account, and you're going to say to yourself, I'm on my way, right? I'm on my way."
Okay, so this is a really important point, because how many times have you heard, well, yeah, I just do or my company doesn't have a match, because they don't have to match. Some companies don't have to. The larger companies, they don't have to match, or they can turn their match off or turn it down. That you have some flexibility in there, and again, for all the right reasons. If the company can't afford to do it, I mean, then they can't afford to do it. Right? This is an employer-sponsored benefit that they're providing for you, because it costs the company to have a 401k. They have to pay for it. So let's say that they don't have, I've heard this countless times. Yeah, I don't do the 401k because there's no match. Don't do that. Like that is.
I don't understand that.
because what do I get? It's like, what do I get out of it?
We're
I
still,
can put my
we're
money
still back to this what's in it for me thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
All right. No
So-
free money, why bother?
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane. Okay. Yep.
So remember, the 401k allows you to put away up to $23,000 if you're under the age of 50, $30,000 if you're 50 or older. So it's depending upon kind of what your situation is. An IRA, you're only allowed to put away up to $7,000 into an IRA.
Yeah.
So if you have the money to be able to put it into, if you have more money that you can put towards retirement, again, going back to where we were saying, like, okay, I save money in the bank. Once I have money in the bank, then I'm putting money towards retirement. Unless there's something I got to buy sooner rather than later, then I'm putting as much as I can towards retirement.
Well, because all roads lead to retirement. You can't. We've talked about this on the show a million times. Catching up is hard, right? If you sit down and you crunch the numbers and you say, look, this is how much money I need to put away to retire the way I want. Pick a number, $1 million, whatever it is, right? Now you sit to figure out, how do you want to make that $1 million happen? Do you want to make it happen $1,000 at a time? Do you want to make it happen $10,000 at a time? Do you want to make it $100,000 at a time? I mean, it only gets harder, right? So when you do these calculations, you're like, geez, you know what? For me to live the retirement that I think I want, I got to put away
$10,000 a month.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot
of money.
But if it's $300 a week,
Yeah.
now you start to break it down, right?
It's
You
different.
eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? So this is the idea, right? You got to segue into this. This is where understanding this concept early on has a huge impact on your probability of success.
Yeah, and just a caveat with that. So Jay mentioned it's hard to catch up. Even though it is hard to catch up, you catch up.
Yeah.
You do what you can to catch up. So let's say you're one of those people that just didn't invest in, you didn't put money away for retirement, and you're 42 years old and you're like, I don't have anything in retirement. I don't care. I would say, we're going to start investing for retirement.
Yeah, or you have to know what that means. And you have to say to yourself, well, my retirement plan means I'll work for the rest of my life and I'll have Social Security and that's it.
But even then, even if that's your plan, and again,
I don't think it's a great plan. I'm just saying that could be a plan. It's just not a great plan.
And again, it's all driven by if you can afford it, right?
Understood.
And so you're not going to rob Peter to pay Paul. You're not going to go into debt in order to put money into a 401k. That's silly. But what I'm saying is, if you're at this point, like, yeah, I never really saved yet, and you're like, okay. Do we have the capability to save some money for retirement? Then I'll be like, yeah, absolutely. We're going to put something in. Maybe it's a 401k, maybe it's an IRA or something, but we're going to put money away, set aside for retirement. So when you retire, when you hit age 67 and you can start collecting your Social Security, and whether you have $1.5 million in a retirement account or whether you have $15,000 in a retirement account, it doesn't matter. I mean, it matters in the sense that you always wish you had more.
No, but you're going to use it.
But you're not going to be like, oh, I don't need it. You're not going to give it away.
Right.
So.
Well, and the other piece of that is, okay, if that's your plan, to your point, your plan can get off the rails by a whole bunch of reasons, a whole bunch of ways that things will happen.
Yeah, like you don't see coming.
No, that's right. That's something happens. Yeah, something happens. So you're going to figure that out. But you need to, you want to make the decision around long-term calculations because you're going to be glad you did it. You're going to be glad you did it. You don't realize it right now. We talked about this all the time. When people are younger and they're bulletproof and they're trying to juggle a bunch of things, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it for one, maybe two paychecks, right? Yeah. You're going to sign up for it. You're going to go, wow, this check is little, right?
Yeah.
Or it's less than it was last month because I just signed up for that 401k.
Right.
And then after that, it's like it happened every
That's a great point. That's because remember the 401k, the way it gets funded through the payroll.
Yeah.
So you're not writing a check. You're not having to go to the bank and move money from point A
they
to
go
point
get
B.
it. They go get it. Yeah, they go get it.
And which in a lot of ways it's good. It's fire and forget. You don't have to think about it.
Right.
And just like Jay said, at first you're gonna be like, I don't have as much money in my bank. But then you're gonna we'll go on and if you're smart and you're savvy and you can adjust your cash flow, then you don't even know it's gone, and then it becomes automatic.
Well, and we've talked about this on the show too. And if you're not maxing out whatever that number is, the key is get it going, right? Yep. At least to the match if there's a match, and then if you only want to do 3 to their 3, and that's fine. But next year, it should go to 4. It should go to 5. Make the incremental adjustment so that you see it happen. you take the hit, and then you're on your way. Because remember, it goes away, but it's not completely away. I mean, there are ways for you to access 401k money in terms of loans, in terms of hardship withdrawals and things like that. So the money isn't gone forever. It's just redirected temporarily for the right reason.
No, and that's important. It's not. It's your money.
Yes.
It's not gone. It's not even close to being
No,
gone.
no.
Now, if you wanted to take it, like Jay said, there's a couple different ways you can, and it may cost you money. It may cost you. You may have to pay taxes. You may have to.
Might be a penalty. That's right.
There might be a penalty, but it's not like the money's.
Yeah,
it's like you're never going to see it again.
Yeah. And we've had clients who come rolling in and they say, "Oh my God, I had the small 401k. I got $800 in it. It's not even worth transferring. It's a headache to even bother with. I'm just going to take the cash. Are they going to write me a check?" And that's fine. It's just not worth the headache.
Anything under $1,000, we'll
So it's
usually
like,
say,
yeah,
we'll say,
just put it in
go
your
out
pocket.
to dinner,
Exactly.
pay the penalty.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's right. But that doesn't mean, I get this 401k. It's from my old employer. It's got $1.4 million in it. I'm just
Yeah.
going to have them cut me a check.
What should I do?
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna drop it in the bank next week. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, all right. As always, time marches on. We come to the end of another great session here.
Lindsay, thanks for joining us today.
Tremendous.
Yeah,
tremendous,
you did a good
fantastic.
job. Thanks for laughing at some of the jokes. It keeps us going. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, got to respond. Got to respond.
well, I mean, there's some jokes are funnier than others. Some people
Mostly
are funnier.
mine.
Than,
Yep.
Some people are funnier than others. We're
Yep.
not. I mean, you just write it down. Whatever. We can put it on this list, like who you thought.
Google review.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's
Yep.
a good little
Google
review.
review. Yep.
All right, Cassius, great for joining. Thanks
Yep,
for
great
joining
job.
us today.
Way to be patient.
Did a good job.
Yep.
That's a well-trained animal
Yeah,
right there.
That's it. That's it. It's good. He's all
I mean,
about it.
I'm right now with because we just got a new dog,
God bless
right?
you.
Yeah,
God
we just got a
bless
new
you.
dog. So I'm where I give my mother a hard time about you got to get that dog trained. Blah, 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 blah. And now I'm calling her. I'm like, so what'd you do with the cage?
When you
Blah,
get
blah,
old, when you get older, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. So.
I have one quick shout out, and
Go ahead,
it's a
please
quick
do.
story. So when I was in school 1,000,000 years ago, I was on the boxing team, right? So we had a championship. It was an intramural boxing team, and we won the championship my senior year. And on that team was me and 5 freshmen, 5 sophomores, and one. I was a senior. 5 sophomores and 1 freshman, or 6 sophomores, 7. 5 sophomores, 1 freshman, right? So. And then I left, and I saw those guys maybe once or twice, a couple years later. But after that, we all kind of went our separate. This is 30 years ago. So the other night, I get they were the class of '93.
Okay.
So the other night, at 10 o'clock at night, I get this text, and it says F3 Brigade Champions, and that's like the title. And it's all those. And so they had just come back from their 30-year reunion.
Oh boy.
30-year reunion, and it was like Monday, and they just were ripping it up at the 30-year reunion. And they're like, we are on this text. We're getting the band back together.
That's hysterical.
So this is a shout out to my boys,
There
right?
you go.
Of the F3 Brigade Champion. And this was my coaching debut.
Sure.
This was my first ever thing that I coached.
Yep.
And they were my boys. So
There you go.
So I told them I'd give them a shout out because I'm going to send them a copy of this.
All
right.
cheers, fellas.
I told them I'd
Way
give
to
them a
do it.
shout
Way to do
out.
it. Way to do it.
All right. And one of them says, "Hey, we should do a golf tournament." And one guy, he's like, "Yeah, I'm a golf pro, and at this club in San Diego. Maybe we could do it here." He goes, "No, but with my connections with the PGA, we could pretty much play anywhere we want." I go, "What about a place in Georgia? Is it maybe in and around the Augusta area?"
Yeah,
He goes,
maybe.
"We'll see what we can do."
Nice.
So
Put something together.
we're gonna have a little golf reunion. It's gonna be fun.
Good stuff.
All right,
Love it.
All right, thanks for joining us today. Money in the Law, Jay Marsden. He's from the Marsden Law Group. I'm John Droy, Main Effort Financial. Lindsay Crane from the Holliston Hub.
job.
We'll see everybody next week.
Have a great week.